As news spreads, elephants will replace horses all across the world as military transportation. Welcome back to your weekly alternate history. Got a lot of comments to read, so let's get right into it. If Carthage won the Punic Wars, it will own most of the world, let alone all. Philosophically and linguistically, the Carthaginians would definitely expand it, but like Rome, its empire would have collapsed probably sooner, as non-African people wouldn't like to be governed by an African nation. To do that, Rome probably did not attack Carthage, while the general and his army marching through Spain to reach Rome and invade. So Rome would be conquered, Carthage would conquer the Mediterranean and make a vast empire, discover other countries and colonize them, and they would face the Mongolians in the future, and then they would get Black Death on their faces. If Carthage won the Punic Wars, they would have had more power on the Iberian Peninsula. They would have also conquered Italy and southern France. Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian culture would change drastically due to Punic influence. French would be considered a Germanic language, and Romania would stick to its Dacian roots. The Berber and Maghrebi cultures of today would be Punic. The Carthage Empire would have dominated the Mediterranean, but the empire would fall on itself because after setting permanent bases, an African migrate, the remnants of Rome would eventually win, but Southern Europe would be incredibly diverse. Most dominant religion would be Christianity and Islam. The most likely point at which Carthage could have won the Punic Wars would have been Hannibal's invasion. If Carthage had won the Punic Wars, the world would be vastly different. The most noticeable change would be that most people would speak a Phoenician-based language instead of Latin-based language. The Mediterranean would be the center of the Western world instead of Europe, with cultural split between East and West not being as severe as in our time. It's hard to tell what else would change, since that would be such a drastic change, but likely colonization wouldn't have been as brutal and more based on trade instead of on civilizing. The religion in Europe would be different. The Norse would be dominated in Scandinavia, northern Germany, Baltics, and some areas in England and northeastern Europe. Islam spreads to the Balkans and Iberia. Christianity never becomes a big religion, and the crusade never happens. Some regions like France, Italy, and the Netherlands still believes in the Roman faith. In the New World, is South America dominated by Islam and North America by Norse faith. All hail Odin. Carthage would gain the upper hand and Rome would be conquered, and Carthage would get entire Mediterranean sea lands and renamed to the Mediterranean Empire, and Britain would be Gallic, and from the Gallic Union, and Scotland and Ireland in 1400, as Rome did not conquer England and Ireland would not leave the Union and is the strongest nation in the world. If Carthage won, there would be no dank memes made. Well, the Romans would be weakened and the growth of their empire might have been weakened, leading other nations like Parthia to rise. Carthage wouldn't have replaced Rome, but put the Mediterranean in an even state with more nations to exist. Now, the would much different as there are less Latin nations like Spain and the Portuguese to do the main colonizing of the New World. With the Roman Empire not as big, Russian would have never formed as the Byzantine Empire is the Roman Empire, kinda, and would have not influenced Kievan Rus, and the revolutions that made the Soviet Union would never happen. Instead of Europe become the center of advances in technology and the great Roman Empire, it will be in North Africa. Instead of Berlin, Paris, and Rome being the huge metropolis, we may get our beer from Casablanca, fine wine from Algiers, and fine food from Tunis. But that will also mean that possibly Islam wouldn't have grown so much, as even in the fall of Carthage instead of fall of Rome, living conditions would be good, and people would be more educated, not to be Islamophobic, and choose Christianity. That could also mean a reverse crusade, Islam controlling Europe while Christianity ruling Africa. If Carthage won the Punic Wars, Rome disappeared. No Romance language, only the Italian, what would be Latin. After the Arabs would enter and spread Islam, all of Carthage would become Islam. The Christian religion will not be formed. Carthage will fall like the Roman Empire. Probably no democracy will be formed. More language families. No Christian war against Islam, so the Ottoman Empire could easily rise and take over Europe. No Renaissance. The official religion in Europe will be Muslim. With European colonialism, the Islam religion would spread. And finally, if Carthage won the Punic Wars, then everyone could ride an elephant. Yay! Ride an elephant? And I'm sorry if your comment didn't get featured today. I got like over 100 comments on the last one. I'm like, holy crap, that was a surprise, man. So it's pretty hard to pick out which comment was the most interesting in my opinion. I find the elephant one was pretty interesting because I would love to ride an elephant, even though I never rode a horse before. So yeah, it would be interesting to ride both of them at least. I'm not sure if you can ride an elephant, but I'm sure you can ride a horse at some point, somewhere in our world. But anyways, let's get on to the next question for next week. And this weekly alternate history is suggested by Lucas H. What if Austria managed to unite Germany instead of Prussia? You can leave your weekly alternate history in the comments below. Every Saturday I will be making weekly alternate histories, so if you haven't done so, you can subscribe so you don't miss out on next Saturday's weekly alternate history. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week.